Trading journals are useless. They take up so much time from you actually paying attention to the live chart and capitalizing off of live moves, and instead you end up sitting at your desk on an Excel sheet typing in numbers all day. That's what I would say if I was lying to myself. And that's what I said basically my entire first year of trading. And I paid for it. I paid for it financially and emotionally. Definitely very, very severely, right? So my tip to you, if you're starting off trading, start your trading journal as soon as possible. Before I even get into this video, I'll say it again. Start your trading journal as soon as possible. I promise you will thank yourself for it. But basically what I want to talk about in this video is number one, my experience with trading journals, and number two, actually show you guys the trading journal that I use right now. So like if you want to start, you can go ahead, use the one that I use. But let's get into it. So when I first started trading, when I was just getting into developing my strategy and figuring out what strategy I wanted to grow from, I was hopping on a ton of Zoom calls. I was hopping on a ton of YouTube videos and reviewing courses. And what all the successful traders were saying were pretty much you need a trading journal. If you're serious about trading, you need a trading journal. And I heard them. And I went ahead, got on Excel, got a trading journal, started to keep it, and then I was like, nah, man. It was a lot of work. It seemed like a lot of work to me, right? At least at that time. And what I think that I didn't want to do was basically review the journal, especially on Excel. If you don't know Excel, if you don't use Excel, Excel is hell for reviewing. At least the way that I was using the journal, or the journal that I had. But once I found that out, what I would do was essentially bob and weave my way through finding ways to keep a journal but not keep a journal. And the way that I did that, I linked my live accounts to Forex Factory and MyFX books. So if anybody asked me if I had a trading journal, I always be like, oh yeah, I got a trading journal. It tracks it for me automatically right here on my FX book. So yeah, I got it. But the thing about that is it wasn't helping me. And the real reason to have a journal is for it to help you and for you to develop as a trader. Your trading journal gives you an opportunity to review what you're doing and manipulate it in a way so that you can ultimately get the results that you want in the end. So I wasn't manually tracking anything. I wasn't reviewing the charts. I wasn't looking at pretty much anything. I just had it there. So I'm like, I got a journal. I ain't got to do anything anymore. During my second year of trading was pretty much a breaking point for me. And one of my videos I actually talk about the last time I blew an account. And the last time I blew an account, it was I was really in pain because for about 5 months, it was 5 or 4 months, something like that, I was profitable on the account. And then within 1 month, or really within 2 weeks, I pretty much blew the entire account, or half of the entire account. And all that work that I put in just went away. And that hit me hard. And I'm like, I'm never doing this again. I need to learn proper risk management. I need to keep track of everything. And once I actually started keeping the journal and actually typing out the information I needed to type out, reviewing it, and doing everything that I was supposed to, that all these successful traders had told me to do before when I first started, I started to grow. And I could see it. I could see that I was making legitimate progress over time. And if you don't know, trading journal isn't simply typing in numbers and then saying, okay, I took this trade, and you're done. Like, there's work after the fact too. You have to come back to the journal, review those stats, review those screenshots, and ask yourself specific questions so that you can figure out basically next time the opportunity comes around, how can I do better, right? Because ultimately you want to grow as a trader. You don't just want to stay stuck where you're at. And some example of questions that you could ask yourself, and these are real basic questions. How can I make more from my winners? How can I lose less from my losers? How can I generate more winning ideas? Okay, and I didn't come up with all that. I actually got that from a video, Trader Dante. He's an amazing trader. Well, I don't know about all that, but he gives some really good advice If you go, he's been trading for over 20 years. I'll go ahead and card the video up at the top so you can go ahead and watch it if you want to. But asking yourself those type of questions when you're going back and reviewing your journal will allow you to develop your own strategy in the end and basically learn from yourself. And that's really what the only thing you can do to become a better trader. You're not going to be able to like just learn or pick up a strategy from somebody else and then do exactly what they're doing, because you may not have the same habits as them. You may not be affected by losers like them. You may have to take a break if you have certain losers in a row because you start to revenge trade after a time. You need to notice those patterns within yourself as well as patterns within the market that you can take advantage of. And the only way that you're gonna really find those type of things out is by keeping the journal and reviewing it. So, like I said, last year was really that year that really emphasized that for me and started me to give respect to what a trading journal is and actually using it consistently. But now let's get into the trading journals. Now, when I started keeping a journal, I started off by using Excel and Google Sheets. I also used Notion, and I even dipped in Trello a little bit. I didn't do that for long, but the main thing that I went to was Google Sheets and Notions, and I basically kept two because I couldn't decide between the two. And they were all great, but like I said at the beginning, they were still hell to go through and review and actually look at each individual screenshot and formulate the stats. For Excel, I tended to come up with ideas as far as, okay, I want to track this, I want to track this. Then I had to go through about 20 minutes of research trying to find the right formula to do this, and then how to implement it correctly in order to add it to the Excel sheet properly. And then Notion's kind of limited with what you can do with it, and can't necessarily track everything that I want to track, but it's way more organized. That's why I stuck with it for a bit of time. But putting all those aside, I don't use any of those anymore as far as when it comes to my trading journal. For my trading journal, I use EdgeWonk, and specifically EdgeWonk 2.0. If you don't know what that is, I'll go ahead and link it in the description so you can check it out. And I'm not affiliated with it. I think it's just really, I just think it's really dope, honestly. And hopefully someone can benefit from it. So I've been using EdgeWonk for going on, 7 months now? And it's been really helpful for me and helped me not stress about going through my journal. It's actually enjoyable, at least for me now. It's really organized. I don't have to come up with formulas, and basically everything's covered for me. All I have to do is enter the information about the trade, and then everything is calculated for me. There's charts, there's simulators, there's specific areas that I can go to so I can break down certain scenarios so I can figure out their probability, and ultimately have some ideas with those stats that I'm getting. So I really believe it's really helpful and really clear and concise. So recommend you getting this if you're really serious about it. I will say it's a pretty pricey. It's pretty pricey for a trading journal. If you're not serious about it, you won't. If you're not serious about trading, I don't expect you to actually buy it because it's over like $200. I think like $250 to something. And also if you get a extra pack with it, it goes up like $300. But it's definitely worth it in the end, especially in the long term. Think about where you're going to be. Like if you're really serious about this and really serious about developing yourself where you're going to be, that $300 will really be like, oh, it was definitely worth the investment.
So I went ahead to find the link for EdgeWonk 2.0 and found out that they're not selling EdgeWonk 2.0 anymore, and they have an updated version called EdgeWonk 3. And it's web-based. Instead of paying $300, you only pay about $170, $180 per year in order to actually get access to it. And it makes it more accessible to access it pretty much from any computers, like anywhere that you have internet access to, even on your phone, to look at your journal and review it instead of just at your home desktop. And it also has a way cleaner UI, so definitely worth checking out. But essentially all the same basic information, and just like EdgeWonk 2.0, they have YouTube tutorials teaching you how to actually use the software. But anyway, let's get back to the video.
Now I showed you guys a little snippet of the trading journal, but I think it would be way more beneficial if I went more in depth and showed you guys actually what I do with it. So in a future video, I'll go ahead and share with you guys an on-screen view of how I go through my journal or how I keep track with my journal, and hopefully you guys can benefit from that too. If you want to be notified when that video comes out, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. Also hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.